Hey, it's Camo with the Nashville Access Facebook show presented by Solace North Gulch Apartments, where taste matters. We're here in the Gulch, and we got the Hear No Evil and we got the See No Evil, but we didn't get the Speak No Evil guy. There's only two today. To my immediate left, and I have to really think about that, this guy, Tim Atwood. I get to hold up a CD. He plays a pretty good keyboard.
Depending on who you ask.
And singer-songwriter Glen Templeton, who showed up without a CD for me to hold up, so you're on your own, dude.
Yeah. Just hold him up.
That's
for
right.
a long time.
It's great to have you both here. Tim, you're making a return appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second time. Things are going well.
Maybe depending on how you do today, you may get a second appearance.
I'm betting on it. I've heard it. I'm betting on
Maybe
it.
so. I've been kicked out of a lot of places, and they won't let me back in.
Yeah. Well, we'll take anyone. So
Yeah.
I think that's why.
No wonder I felt right at home.
We're here primarily to talk about the show Sunday Morning Coming Down. Now, Tim, you're involved with that.
I am. I'm doing the show. It's Sunday Morning Country. It's June the 9th at the Grand Ole Opry House.
Cool.
And it's just a huge show. And it's hosted by Brenda Lee. And so
That'll be fun.
that's a scream within itself. And Jeannie Seeley, of course,
Oh,
they're just
man.
wild.
No trouble happening there.
No, but they do it every year. It's always the closing thing for CMA Fest,
Right.
what we used to call fanfare. And so it's the closing thing for the week. And so whenever you go to that show and you start heading back to your home state, you're just full of joy and happiness and being blessed by such great music. And there's just all kinds of people on there. Just
Do you
huge.
get a lot of people coming in that haven't been home?
Oh yeah, yeah. They've been out all night, but they still come.
Yeah.
It's a great show. It really is.
Tell us more about the show. Is it primarily a gospel show, country gospel show?
Well, it's a country gospel show. There's a lot of different acts on Tennessee River Boys, Music City Quartet. James Wesley's on it. I played piano at the Grand Ole Opry for like 38 years, so I played behind James a lot. And Holly Watson, who is Margaret Smith's daughter.
Cool.
And but man, it's full of stars, and it's pretty much gospel and country, so it's worth the time.
Ashton Shepherd is on the show too, and Ashton was supposed to be here today.
Right.
But she stepped in glass or something. So Ashton, you could have lived in.
She should have put
Yeah.
some. She's pretty country. I bet she didn't have no shoes on.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was.
How long have you been doing the show?
I've been doing it, I guess. I started way back with Joe Babcock, who was on the show. He had it, and he was in charge of it. I mean, I'm talking probably 30 years ago or something like that. And I was just playing in the band at that time. But I've been associated with it for many years. Billy Walker and Betty Walker, they were up on it for a long time. But it's been going on for a long time, and it just keeps growing, and rightfully so, because it's such a great program.
Now, you're not involved in the show.
I am now.
But
No, I'm not. I wasn't on the bill. My name's not on the bill for sure. But I mean,
yeah, but you've crashed parties before.
hey, you know exactly. We're on the same page here, Cameron. But I'm not on the bill. You know what? I'm a phone call away as always. You know,
That's right.
I'll fill in if someone can't show up. I'm really good. I'll fill in wherever.
That's excellent. But you have a lot of gospel roots.
Exactly. I grew up in a little Southern Baptist community right outside of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, in a little town called Elrod. And that was Elrod Baptist Church. Like, I had a Southern
Was that
Baptist
next
raising.
to Jake?
Right next to Jake, which was my dog who was buried right next to the church.
All right.
So I had a Southern Baptist background, and so I mean, I fit and I understand exactly what you guys are talking about, and it sounds like it's a great organization, a great group, and what a way to crash out in the backside of CMA Fest for everybody who has done everything under the sun during CMA Fest.
That's
What a
right.
way to send them home. It's like church on Sunday, repentance, and then you can go home and you're
Start
free.
over again.
Yeah,
That's right.
start all over again.
Yeah, what happens in Nashville stays in Nashville.
It goes on YouTube. Yeah.
That's more like it. I mean, it's hard to tell, but you get a lot of people that have come in for CMA Fest coming to the show, or do you get just, you know, a lot of locals that come in because it's something different too?
Well, I think it's a mixture of both. I think that it's such a thing that they do every year that there's a lot of locals that do it. Melanie Walker, who's on the board, she's the one that helps head the thing up, and Lynn Fox. And they're doing a tribute this year to Hee Haw. Hee Haw has been on the air for 50 years.
Wow.
And this is the 50th anniversary, and they've got a special tribute to Roy Clark.
Right.
And so, I mean, like I said, this is going to be a huge show. And they do a thing.
You've got cheat sheets there. It's okay.
I do. Roxanne gave me those. Roxanne takes care of everything. I just go.
Salute!
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't get any of this right. I'm still not sure I'm getting it
I'm
right.
not either.
I'm laughing so hard because I know exactly what you're talking about.
And there's a special performance for Soldier's Child, which is benefiting soldiers who have died and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be quite a show.
How long does it run? Is it like a couple hours?
Well, the pre-show is at 2, and it runs for 3 hours. The show actually starts at 2:30, I believe. And so for 3 hours, you get to sit back and listen to some great stories and songs and be blessed, you know.
I bet with the hee-haw aspect of it, it's going to be just a pan.
Oh yeah, it'll be good. Can you
Well,
get
the
that?
hotline's on right now. We're taking calls.
Yeah,
We're taking
Can
donations.
you get that? I can do everything.
we'll take donations. Yeah. Roxanne can do everything for you, but she can't shut off.
No, she don't have to shut the phone.
Well, it's Jim's phone.
Oh, okay.
Even better. That's right.
Nice.
Yes.
That's funny. Are there going to be a lot of people that were on the cast there?
I know Lulu Roman's going to be there.
She's still
And
pretty good.
Joe Babcock is going to be there because he was in the background singers.
Yeah.
He had the background singers at Hee Haw. I'm not sure. Oh, Victoria Holman,
Diane Goodman.
Diane Goodman. I mean, they've got Jeff Smith, who was on there too, and they've got like what they're using a Hee Haw quartet like they used to. Of course, all the originals are gone, but they put together a quartet for that.
The guy that mentored me as a steel guitar player in Canada, he was a long-time steel guitar player for Gordy Tao, who was on.
Really?
Yeah, so I have
Wow.
that kind of.
You got a connection, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want me on stage for that. Is it becoming kind of like the Elvis thing? Because every year they celebrate Elvis's death,
Right.
and when it was fresh, you got all the people that were immediately surrounding Elvis, and now it's like their third cousins and fourth cousins because everybody else has gone.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like that, like you and Roy Clark and stuff. I mean, that's pretty recent, but to celebrate him, I worked with him many times as well, and so I just think it's a cool thing. I actually worked a thing in Marion, Virginia, a couple weeks ago, and they're taking that Hee Haw cast, what's left of it, and doing shows. And we did one in Marion, Virginia. It was Buck Trent, Janet J, Misty Rowe, and Lulu Roman, and had a lot of fun.
We did an interview a short while ago with Mackenzie Colt, who used to be on here as well, one of the Hee Haw Honeys.
Yeah.
And she had some great stories about it.
They actually gave me a key to the city in Marion that night. They gave all the 4 main people, and then I ended up somehow with a key to the city, and I said, well, I'm going to start the town up and just drive it off somewhere.
They gave us the key to get in, but they didn't tell you how
they
to
had to get out,
Why do you think Hee Haw, I mean, you've worked with so many of these people, why do you think Hee Haw is just still such a legend?
Well, I think when it came on, I mean, everybody had this view of Nashville like it was just hay bales and you know and all that kind of stuff. And now, I mean, it's withstood 50 years because it's still showing like on RFD in just different places. And I just think it was real popular because it was normal people basically just being themselves. Grandpa Jones was hysterical. Junior Samuels, they were just naturally funny. They didn't have to try to be funny. They just were, you know. And I just feel like they did such a great show. I remember the first episode. I was at my Granny Atwood's house down in Quitman, Mississippi, little 13-inch black and white TV, and I fell in love the first time I saw it. Man, I thought it was great. But
Yeah,
it's still alive today.
that used to be a staple on Saturday nights.
Oh yeah.
That and man, what else was on? Emergency.
Oh,
was
yeah.
on, and that legend still lives on in all the fire shows you see now. They always make references to.
Oh, yeah.
that. Those groundbreaking shows, and Hee Haw was one of them.
Yeah.
And I think now people look at it because of the simplicity of it,
Yeah.
and it's just honest, goofy humor.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I'm all into goofy humor.
I remember watching Hee Haw, and it was one of the fond memories that I have. Like our tradition at home was I just kind of sit down on the couch and lay down right before bed. But Hee Haw would be on, and Andy Griffith, and Sanford and Son.
Oh yeah.
You know, and all in the family.
But you would be watching it in reruns.
And that-
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I'm an original.
I'm original. I'm really original.
It was it's
There's
just a
nothing
fond
wrong. You're
memory,
still
though.
part of the family.
It's
though.
very comforting to know
Yeah.
that is still, and that after working with so many people that you've worked with and
Yeah.
shared the stage with, that you're
Yeah.
keeping that thing alive. You're helping
Yeah.
keep it alive. That's I love it because that's some of the reasons why I'm here today.
Yeah.
Yeah, now tell us more about what you're doing, because you're sadly not part of the Sunday morning country show.
He will be next.
I might be standing outside the gate.
Yeah. Yeah. Your fingers pressed. Tell for people who don't know who you are, fill them in.
Just a little bit about me. Obviously, already raised in a little town outside of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and Southern Baptist raised and moved into this town here in Nashville probably 17 years ago now. Back February was 17 years, and started writing and recording, and had an opportunity to go to Texas and play some big nightclubs there. I played downtown on Broadway here for probably 2 years at the legendary Texas Orchid Lounge. Paid my dues on the streets, and got kind of recruited by a guy who was he was kind of their recruiter for the Cowboys dance halls out in Texas.
Yeah.
Big dance halls, and so they carried me down and courted me, and I went from playing for a couple hundred people a night to going and playing, 3,000 or 4,000 people on every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night in a club. I was like, man, that's pretty good for an old boy who grew up on 12 wheels. and so I took the opportunity, went down and I played the show for about 6 months just regularly, and then off and on for the next 3 years, because I got there and I just understood, man, there's something that I'm missing. One of the reasons that I moved to Nashville was for becoming a recording artist.
Right.
And I didn't really know much about songwriting, but I started dabbling in songwriting, and I kind of built the craft of songwriting a little over time, and I'm still building it. But I moved back into town and started recording actually my first album, and I got recruited by, also, I say this recruit thing a lot because it's always
you're
just
from Alabama. That's all anything in Alabama.
it's hard. We know about that, though. We know about recruiting, though.
Or A's on your pickup trucks and you're on a report card.
I can just laugh along with that. I don't say it all, don't they?
Yeah.
But I've had lots of opportunities to record great songs, and I've had a lot of great songwriters, and now I get to share the couch with him, and know that maybe I got a possibility to be on the Hee Haw show or the show next year, the Sunday morning.
I'm sure you'll be there.
Well,
I'm gonna put a word in for you.
You sound like a guy who's got some pull.
Yeah. I don't have pull. My wife has pull.
He
I'll
pulled
tell
the
her about
He
it.
pulled the muscle in his back.
That's
he pulled
it.
the muscle in his shoulder.
It's only pull I got. But I'm sure you will be.
Yeah, I'd love to be a part of it. I just, I've been recording for just this past 17 years now, and it's been quite the opportunity, man. I've got to meet a lot of great people, a lot of great musicians, a lot of great songwriters, inspiring.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing about this town is it continues to be inspiring. Music keeps growing in maybe directions that I'm not really, that's not my thing, but I still love the idea that music still has this opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
And,
Going from the honky tonks in Nashville to the dance halls in Texas, that's a whole another world of its own.
yeah.
Here it seems, as long as somebody's up playing music and it's songs they know and they're drinking, everybody's happy. But in Texas, the dance halls, you got to work it.
You really have to work it, and
And not
here,
to dismiss the
Right.
people that play in the honky tonks. It's just a different. It's just a different.
it's a different
thing.
footprint.
Yeah.
It's a totally different footprint. The small shotgun places are very, very personal. They're
Yeah.
really one-on-one, and there's a band, and there's a lot of energy in the room. And then you can see the guy who's in seat
Yeah.
20 back there. You can see him just right on. But the guy who's sitting way back in the back, who's 4,000 people deep,
Yeah.
you have to be able to associate with him and get him to feel what you're
Yeah.
singing about too. And that's a totally different type of entertainment.
Yeah, you have two things to do when you're doing the Texas dance halls, and that's fill the dance floor, sell beer.
So
That's your job.
Mhm.
But it's understanding because you're working with bigger crowds, and you have to be able to understand the pacing. And I think a lot of the big Texas artists that have made it big,
Mhm.
that have come out of that dance hall thing, have a much better feel for working a crowd and understand pacing
Mhm.
because you have to.
yeah.
Where
Yes.
you don't so much here.
Yeah, and here's more as a built-in crowd. There's
Yeah.
a lot of tourists here, but when you go to someone else's town, when you take this footprint here and you carry Nashville sound, I say, or take a country sound from here and you take it to Texas and you have to fill those seats there, you got to bring it because those people, those locals are looking for something that they've never had before.
And they're
Right.
skeptical of Nashville.
Yes. Yeah. And they are skeptical of Nashville, but I got accepted into to the Texas culture there and their Texas country music, because I was really a lot like them.
Yeah.
And the music that I play is who they are. It's cowboy music. It's a little bit of rock and roll with it, and a little bit of Southern gospel and music as well.
And
So-
that's Texas music.
And that's Texas
Texas music just envelops so much with the Latin influences, and
Mhm.
you could have really stone cold hardcore country, and then you can have western swing, and then you can have bands like God, now they're gone. I hate middle age. I can't remember anymore. Some of the big Texas bands that are out now that are more rock driven.
Yeah, like Randy Rogers. Yeah.
Randy-
And Randy Rogers he's more of a kind of it's more of a subtle country.
Yeah,
He's got a little bit of an edge to it.
He says it's not your grandfather's country.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
American Aquarium, that's what I was trying to think about. That sometimes they go into an alternative sound, but they've
mhm.
also got this really cool country vibe going.
Yeah.
And it still all falls under the label of Texas music.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different animal.
It
Texas is
really
a different
is.
animal completely.
Yeah, it's a different, but it's kind of my animal.
Yeah.
And it's working really, really well because we always get invited back. Everywhere we go to, very few, maybe one or two places we just never have heard back from. But I mean, we play hundreds and hundreds of shows out there every year, and we always get invited to come back to the same locations all the time. And we build a fan base one by one by one.
And that's how it's done there.
It is.
Here it's like, get your music out and try to get it to a lot of people. In Texas, it's all about getting it one person at a time and building it. And a lot of the big Texas artists can have an incredibly successful career without ever
Mhm.
going out of the state.
Right.
Right. And their music there is not so fast tracked.
Yeah.
I think they still allow a lot of integrity and a lot of DNA in their music there. I don't think that it's so mass produced that it takes away from its authenticity.
I keep using the reference, but Ray Wiley Hubbard had said the difference between Nashville and Texas is in Nashville you get up in the morning, you have a co-write. Then you go to lunch, and then you have a co-write. And at night, you're either playing your songs at a songwriter's round or playing on the honky tonks trying to get your stuff out.
Mhm.
You're tied up with trying to get publishing deals and label deals.
Yeah.
He said in Texas, you roll out of bed around noon, you smoke a joint, you call up a friend, let's write a song. You may write a song, you may not.
Yeah.
But you're gonna smoke a joint.
Yeah.
Regardless.
In Nashville, music is a way of life. In Texas, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. and it's a business here.
Exactly.
It's very much so a business here, and there's with Nashville today, it's nothing like what it was when I first moved here. I mean, every month there's a new building popped up.
I've been here almost 8 years, and it's nothing like it was when I moved here.
I've been here 43. It's changed.
It's
Funny. But our hairstyles haven't.
Yeah, you've been part of the machine in a few different ways here in town.
I have. I mean, I worked a lot of the TV shows, the Hee Haw and Nashville on the Road and the Opry, and but I was talking the other day. It was amazing when I first moved to town in '76 on Lower Broadway. There were about 5 clubs: the Wheel, Diva's Den, Trade Winds. But every place down there in that area, it was a club, a pawn shop, and then a porn shop. And that's all it was down in that area.
And the only guides were the hookers.
That's it. That's right. But it's so funny because my kid's playing down there now. He's a drummer. And I found out the other day, he wanted to be a musician, but he ended up being a drummer.
So many other jokes.
But there's 178 live music stages within about a 4-block area down on Lower Broadway. But so it has just totally, you know, but I mean, those guys are working. I mean, those are hardcore guys. They get down there and work 4 hours for basically tips.
Yeah.
And my kid, I mean, he'll work 4 shifts in one day. And I thought, can you imagine playing 16 hours worth of music in a day? There's no way.
And,
I'm lucky to do an hour and a half these days.
They all run around look like chihuahuas. They're that big around. You know.
and this time of year, that's great. You can make a lot of money.
Oh, sure.
But the dead of January,
Yeah.
not a lot of tourists in town, and a lot of the bars don't open up all their different floors.
Right.
So it's a little bit tougher in the winter. You got to resort to other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sundays and Mondays in downtown are a little bit, they're a little bit low key.
Yeah.
You know, not so many people in town, but we've been downtown Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and on Tuesday it's slammed down there. Even, I mean, I've been down in January and it just be slammed down there. Nowadays, I think it's just changed in 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
That's happened.
Yeah.
You know, and it's bizarre how fast everything is moving. There's a warm body on every stage, and a warm body on every corner too. We're playing a 5-gallon bucket with drums, you know, and a guy's playing 4 strings on his 6-string guitar, and it's just and a tip bucket sitting out there, and they make it. They get a cheeseburger, you know, and they're passionate about it.
And sometimes there's a couple of cold bodies up there that somebody's just propped them up and said, "Hey, we're at Tootsie's tonight."
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh, that's great.
We're talking to Tim Atwood and Glen Templeton. We're supposed to be talking mostly about the Sunday Morning Country show that takes place, so we'll plug that.
Okay.
That takes place the Sunday of the
It's-
final day of the CMA.
Yeah, June the 9th, I think it is. Let me look at my notes. Roxanne, where is it? Okay.
Roxanne wrote me no cue cards.
She wrote me something. She knows I'm ignorant. June the 9th at 2:30 is the show. They got a pre-show at 2 o'clock.
Cool.
Host Brenda Lee, Jeannie Seeley, the Davis Family, Tennessee River Boys, Music City Quartet, Earlene Mandrell, Diane Sherrill, Joe Babcock, Lulu Roman, and Melanie Walker, the Fox Brothers. I mean, it's quite a show.
It's a value at any price.
Yeah, and see, I grew up actually playing Southern gospel music, so I know a lot of these people from the gospel music field. I had an uncle that sang tenor for the Florida Boys back in the late
sang
60s.
tenor.
Did you?
Yeah, 10 or 12 miles away from
Hey!
We mentioned Hee Haw, you gotta go.
It's there, baby. You got to
He mentioned ignorant. I was there. My mama told me you got to be tough when you're ignorant.
That's right. But yeah, it's going to be a great show. I would really like to see it. Yes.
Opry.com.
Oh, go to Opry.com and you can find more information on that.
Tickets.
Oh, tickets. All right. According to Roxanne, you can get tickets through Opry.com for the Sunday Morning Country Show on June the 9th at 2:30 p.m. How about that?
That works.
Roxanne is your Siri.
Beautiful. Oh, she is. Yeah.
We're actually sitting talking to Mr. Roxanne Atwood.
That's exactly right. When we go on the road, she does all the driving.
Yeah.
All I gotta do is hold the wheel.
I resemble that.
You want to? Let's do a song, and when I say let's, I mean you do a song and I'll watch, and then we'll come back and talk some more.
Okay.
Let's get over to our lovely stage, and
Yeah, our smooth.
our smooth
Transition.
transition.
Smooth transition.
We're gonna go over here. Come on over. And
Let Ben go first. I'd rather hear him sing than me.
Oh, and you know what? I don't even
well,
know.
let's just get you both over here.
You know,
Somebody
This
get there.
is really
Because
rehearsed.
it's blank. It's on the camera.
I love the impromptu stuff, man. This
Yeah.
is awesome.
I'm actually gonna walk behind you over here so you can keep the camera
Put it on me.
on.
That shirt goes with everything. I like that.
That's my CD shirt. Looks like a bunch of CDs. Speaking of which, I got a CD for sale. No, I don't want to go there.
We'll plug that again.
So I didn't know what.
Yeah.
Do we want to do something other like? I've got a song. When we talked about the Southern Baptist thing and me growing up as a Southern Baptist, and I brought that inspiration with me. This is the first song that I ever recorded when I moved into town.
Oh, cool.
So I think I'll play that one.
Yeah, man.
So, thanks for another day that I don't deserve, and for helping me find my way around the curves, 'cause the straight and narrow ain't the path I'm on. So help me keep it in the middle till I get back home. I know I've strayed from side to side. Sometimes I've even crossed the line. But I know where I'm going while I try to make it there. I hope God hears a sinner's prayer. I mostly talk to you when I'm in a bind, or up against a mountain that I can't climb. Well, here I am again with trouble on my mind, hoping you'll help me one more time. I know I've strayed from side to side. Sometimes I've even crossed the line. But I know where I'm going while I try to make it there. I hope God hears a sinner's prayer. Yes, I know where I'm going, while I try to make it there, I know God still hears this sinner's prayer.
Yeah.
Sunday
Nice, baby.
It almost sounds like we have a studio audience today. Your turn.
Oh, great. It's hard to follow that boy. You got such a great voice, too, man. I just
Thank
love
you
hearing you sing.
so
It's
much.
awesome.
Yeah, why aren't you huge?
Just not for me.
It's gonna happen. I mean, he's great. I saw him out one night that we did a benefit, and I told Roxanne when we left, I said, "Man, that guy was great." And so it was cool to come in here and see him today. We finally got to meet and actually talk, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna up. What happened? There we go.
There we go.
Scared me. Live TV. Hey, I'm gonna do a song that. This is a song that I recorded on the new CD, and I believe in God, family, and country, and that's the CD. If you haven't figured that out,
Just leave that in front of his face.
That's right. That's perfect. But this is a song called "I'll Stand Up and Say So," and I went out to California and did this on a TV show out there, and I got some bad emails, but I got a lot of positive song on it. So. I heard him say on the radio, they're gonna take the 10 Commandments from the courthouse lawn, and some others say that they have the right to burn our country's flag. The list goes on and on. Guess I'll have to say I'm tired of all this liberality. We need the backbone to stand up and say no. And it'll have to start with me. I'll tell them that I don't agree. Yeah, I'm gonna let them know, 'cause I'll stand up and say so. I'll tell them I believe in the Bible and what it says is true. I'm thankful for the ones who died for the red, white, and blue. When they try and take my rights away, I'll proudly stand and tell them no, it ain't gonna happen, 'cause I'll stand up and say so. Every monument in Washington, words are inscribed of God and country, things they weren't ashamed to say. Have you ever thought of the price we pay to defend our country's freedom? They can't take that away. Guess I'll have to say I'm tired of all this liberality. We need the backbone to stand up and say no. But it'll have to start with me. I'll tell them that I don't agree. Yeah, I'm gonna let them know, 'cause I'll stand up and say so. I'll tell them I believe in the Bible and what it says is true. I'm thankful for the ones who died for the red, white, and blue. When they try and take my rights away, I'll proudly stand and tell them no, it ain't gonna happen, 'cause I'll stand up and say so. What it says is true. I'm thankful for the ones who died for the red, white, and blue. When they try and take my rights away, I'll proudly stand and tell them no, it ain't gonna happen, 'cause I'll stand up and say so. Oh, it ain't gonna happen, 'cause I'll stand up and say so.
You're watching the Nashville Access Facebook show with Camo with my special guest Tim Atwood, Glen Templeton. Do another one and then we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Right?
What was I supposed to do, honey?
Whatever you want to do.
Whatever I want to do?
You don't hear that very often.
I know. I don't get that a lot. Sorry. You know what? I want to do a song that I've only been writing a short time. I got my first cut. And Jeannie Seeley, and you don't want me to do that, do you?
No, it's okay.
I can look at that face and go, don't do that one, don't do that one. But no, Jeannie Seeley and Lori Morgan just cut this song. And they couldn't find a guitar player, so Vince Gill played lead on it. So,
I hate
but,
Dang.
But I know we're doing Sunday Morning Country, we're promoting that, but I'm just thrilled. I got a cut.
Wonderful.
My first one. There's things I like about me, a lot of things I don't. I know that I could change them all, but I know darn well I won't. I roll with a tide, take it all in stride, but there's one thing that you gotta know. That's who I am, that's what I do, that's how I roll. I do what I do when I want to, and I'm all that I need to be. When it comes right down to it, what you get is what you see. I got love so deep you can feel it, and I live by my own code. That's who I am, that's what I do, that's how I roll. That's who I am, that's what I do, that's how I roll. I got the country music way down with a rock and roll soul. Well, you may not understand me, but there's one thing that you should know. That's who I am, that's what I do, that's how I roll. Well, people can talk about me, I don't care what they say. At least not enough to worry about, 'cause I'm living my life my way. Sometimes I go off the deep end, and I get a little out of control. That's who I am, that's what I do, that's how I roll. That's who I am, that's what I do, that's how I roll. I got the country music way down in a rock and roll soul. Well, you may not understand me, but there's one thing that you should know. That's who I am, that's what I do, that's how I roll. That's who I am, that's what I do, that's how I roll. That's who I am, that's what I do, that's how I roll.
And it all started with chopsticks.
That's right.
How do I follow that? How do you do
I
that?
think you can follow.
Oh, you're fine.
How do you do that? Oh man, what a great song, man! You say you hadn't been writing that on. I find that hard to believe. I find that hard to believe. That's killer, man. I don't. So I'm trying to think of what I was gonna play actually and I'm so mesmerized right now by the playing and the singing and the songwriting and well let me ask my version of Roxanne. What do you think I should play? Should I play my new single?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I have a brand new single. We just released this to iTunes and to Spotify and to
All over.
yeah, it's everywhere. Apple Music. So it's a song that talks about living an unchained life and how it is out on the road, kind of like it's a tough life if you want to run with me. And the new title of the song is called Run With Me. It goes like this right here. Yeah, I am who I am because I've been where I've been. I've seen the wrong side of the fence. That's why I stay on the move and doing what I do, living it up while I can. There ain't no roadblocks, baby, no red lights, baby, no stop signs, baby, on this rock and roll road that gets wild, wild and free. Better learn how to fly high. Oh, if you wanna run with me, yeah. Yeah, I roll and I roll, never taking it slow, even when I'm just an inch from the ledge. And it's a crazy ride, but that's just fine, 'cause I was born for leaning over the edge. Living like a rock star, baby, go all out crazy, can't get enough, baby, of this hell-raising life that gets wild, wild and free. Better learn how to fly high. Oh, if you wanna run with me, yeah. Well, I'll roll, never taking it slow, even when I'm just an inch from the edge. Keep it more and more and more, and keep her to the floor until my time is up. On this road that gets wild, wild and free. Better learn how to fly high. Oh, if you wanna run with me, yeah, now if you wanna run, if you think you can run with me. Brandon.
Come on back over here, guys.
All right. We're
We'll
moving.
chat some
We're
more.
moving.
This is the only show where the audience moves when
When the there's no cut to pride too.
you're watching the National Access Facebook show with our human test pattern, Tim Atwood.
Thank you very much. That's what I'm good for, baby.
Kind of a different format today. We decided to go for an hour-long thing with a couple of guests, and we couldn't get any, so we got these two.
Yeah.
You're rocking
Tough
it,
road,
baby.
man.
I wanna
Tough
rock.
crowd.
Yeah, Tim Atwood, Glen Templeton. That's the new single.
Yes, sir.
What's it called again?
Run with me.
Run With Me. That's a great song.
It is.
Thank
It
you,
is.
thank you very much. I
Uh,
wish I'd have written it, but I didn't have to. Somebody else really wrote that one really well, and I just, man,
Well, yeah.
when it came across the table, you know how it is when you're sitting in those pitch meetings and they go, man, what about this song? What about this song? You're looking for something that's kind of anthemic for, maybe a redneck, unchained kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
So when that one came across the table, I said, man, I'm gonna hold on to
That's
that one.
a
So
good
I've been holding to that for about 4 years.
Oh yeah.
As
Yeah.
artists, a lot of people start writing songs kind of out of necessity, because the publishing companies aren't giving you a sniff at the big songs.
Right.
They're not even giving you a sniff at the bad songs from the big writers.
Mm-hmm.
So out of necessity, you start writing for yourself.
Exactly.
And so many people, when they come out with their first album, and I wrote it all myself. And well, yeah, you've had your whole life to write that one, but you've got an album that has to come out next year.
Yeah.
Gonna write something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever feel that kind of pressure?
Yeah, I always do. I always like to have a little bit of my thumbprint on every record that I put out. But I'm a fan of the best song wins.
Yeah.
I know that the songs that I write, some of the stuff that I write is just really process of elimination. I'm kind of getting maybe some garbage out of the way that I don't feel like it's ever going to go, but I can't get out of my head. So the only way to get out of my head is to put it on the paper and then burn the paper and let it go.
That's
So,
genius.
Yeah, I'm cheating kind of, but
Other people actually put it on their records.
Yeah.
yeah. Man,
We won't
so
mention
bad.
names.
But yes, I do feel that kind of pressure in writing songs, and because I always want to put what I'm feeling on paper, but it doesn't always necessarily line up with, like you were saying, the time.
Yeah.
You have to stay current in front of your fans. You have to put out more and more music, and there's so many more songs out there than I have time to write. And when they come across my table, if I feel them at that time, it has to be the right song.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the right song will find its way to the right artist, I believe.
Yeah.
Now you said, I flippantly made the comment, why aren't you huge? But I was serious about it, because you have everything it takes to be big. And you said, because that's not the way you see yourself.
Yeah, it's, you know, I never viewed moving to this town to be big. I wanted to do what I absolutely love to do, and I wanted to be able to raise my family and have a great life.
Mm-hmm.
And wherever that carried me, as long as I was happy doing what I was doing, wherever that carried me, I'm just totally content with that. So it's not necessarily that it's not me, it's me, but it just hasn't reached the masses yet.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm doing it one by one. I'm not really an industry standard guy. I'm a little bit left to center all the time, and it sometimes that doesn't translate well with people who are really trying to operate and run a business.
Yeah.
Because they have to have things this way, and you know what? I totally get that.
Yeah, well, the music business has always been about that. You have all these right-brain creative people, and then you have all these left-brain bean counter lawyers,
Exactly.
and a lot of creatives, and myself included. I just totally have no left brain. I don't function that way.
Yeah, right.
And so artists have got into trouble because the suits and the bean counters are saying, "Here, sign this. This is going to make you rich." Well, it makes them rich, and not so much you.
Right.
But it's a strange thing where it's all come together, and everybody trying to do what they do to be happy. And sometimes the creatives are the ones that get sacrificed for that.
Well, and being big to me is just the happiness that I have with it.
Yeah.
That's a big feeling.
And when you're huge, you know, a big top recording act that's touring all the time, that puts a whole different set of problems in front of you, and strains and things that you didn't want to do in the first place.
Right.
But you have to do because the label's saying you got to do this.
It does, and they know what works well for their market and what they're trying, their goals. And when your goals don't really necessarily match up with their goals, then it's probably at both best interest to maybe do their own thing.
Yeah.
And I still have so many friends in the industry, everybody who I've met along the way, regardless if it worked or it didn't work business-wise, I still have a great relationship with each and every one of them, because it's all about maintaining relationships. And the longer that I can stay doing what I'm doing and loving what I'm doing, I think the more opportunities I'm going to have a big shot at something at some point.
And I think there are so many stories in town where people have come to town with that goal of being a big recording artist. And it hasn't worked out, but they're still able to make a living making music, whether it's playing in the honky tonks or playing at writers' rounds and working during the day, or working in bands that are cover bands and making a living doing that. You're still making a living doing music, and if the music is what drives you, then recording star, touring artist, it doesn't matter.
I think the main thing, basically what we're all saying is, just be true to yourself and who you are, and you don't change your values or your ideas for someone else.
That's a good point, because do you think a lot of people do come to town and they're just ready to surrender everything about them in order to, sell their soul to get that deal?
Yeah,
I was one of them.
Yeah.
Early on in my career, I was one of them. Who I would try to sing anything, try to just play the role of every role that I could play.
Yeah.
And when it got back down to it, I was just an old redneck from Alabama who loved to sing country music, and I loved to perform. And nowadays, it's got me here, and now maybe next year get to be a part of the show this Sunday morning. So I work into it all the time.
Melanie, if
working
you're
into
watching,
Melanie.
Melanie,
Get Glenn next year.
have him in the wings this year to come in and do
In
us.
case somebody fails, show up. He's
Yeah.
the best stand-in I've ever seen.
And if he doesn't get a chance to sing, I'm sure there are restrooms.
I thought you said you've been around a while.
I have been around a while.
Now you were on the Opry for
38 years.
38 years as a keyboard player there. Man, that's a good, solid, long-term gig.
It was a good gig. I really enjoyed it, and like I said, I played with everybody you can imagine, and it was such a cool thing. Matter of fact, one night Taylor Swift was on. We played for Taylor Swift, And we got done. I went back to the band room. I said, "Boy, that poor little girl can't sing. I feel sorry for her." And about 2 weeks later, she just exploded. That's how far removed I am from the real music business.
But Opry players have a tough gig because you've got different artists doing it all the time, and it's like, here's a chart.
That's it.
And sometimes last minute things happen where the stuff you've rehearsed don't happen.
There were nights that you would go out there and the artist would be late, so you didn't even have a chance to run it with them.
Yeah.
They would come out, throw a chart, say, "This is what we're doing. Here's the tempo. Here's the key. Here we go." And so you just had to be on top of it, man, and it was great. I had a buddy of mine fill in for me. He said, "Man, I don't want your job." He said, "It's a good job, but boy," he said, "that's pressure."
Yeah.
And you do what you do, man.
Was it hard to leave that and then kind of go out and say, okay, well, I'm a touring artist now. I gotta get out and hunt down the gigs?
No, I actually moved to town to surrender everything and become a big star. So I knew where I was going. No, I actually I had done a single act around town for many years, just to supplement what I was doing. I mean, and whenever I left the Opry, I went, man, I got to take a shot at this solo career. I waited a little late, but I'm still, like you said, just working. Just having fun and getting out and meeting people and making the connections to all the music people, but at the same time, getting out in the public. They are so kind and just loving, and I do a lot of churches. I mean, I grew up playing Southern gospel music, and I still have that love for that Southern gospel music, man. I do.
I got to tell you, on behalf of all of us who had mullets in the 90s and were forced to cut them off.
Here we go.
I honor you for keeping it alive.
Yeah.
I mean, one, he's going to stay true to himself.
That's right.
He's going to stay true to
I still think
himself.
it's
Right?
the most practical haircut on the planet.
Yeah.
So,
I'm stuck in the 70s. 70s was my decade, man. I think all the music was good.
Oh, God.
it's
Yeah,
not
you're
good.
so dead on the money.
So I
all
love
kinds
it.
of music, country,
Country,
rock,
rock,
bluegrass,
blues,
all of it, man.
everything was great.
And so I'm stuck in the 70s. I wear tie-dyed tennis shoes all the time. People go, "Hey, those are cool."
Yeah,
You know.
you keep wearing the stuff, it eventually
Yeah.
cycles back around.
I've got a pair of big bell bottoms. I mean, the big bell bottoms that I wore with Jim Ed back in the 70s, and I can still wear them whenever there's a Woodstock party or something. I put them on with my sandals and go, Hey, those are original, man. That's the real deal. These are not new.
I think it's great because you are a traditional artist, but you also understand the sensibilities and have adopted the different changes over the years. You have to when you're playing the opera.
You do.
Because it constantly, it's just constantly
Evolving.
changing.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, who would have figured Kelsey Ballerini, new Opry member?
Yeah.
You know?
It's changed a whole bunch. Like I said, when I started, it was Roy Acuff and Benny Pearl and Porter Wagner and Jimmy Dickens. And basically what I do when I go out and do shows, I'm Jimmy Dickens because I love to tell jokes. And I'll do 2 or 3 songs, then I'll tell a couple jokes, then I'll do this tearjerker song. So I take them on a ride.
And you and Jimmy Dickens have a lot in common because you both told jokes.
A lot.
And none of them are ever any good.
So you've seen my show.
You're the one who showed up.
I knew I recognized you from somewhere.
And I stole all of them. Yeah, you recycled them from Jimmy, and I took them from you and recycled them. It's like a copy of a copy of a copy. It just gets worse as it goes along.
The chicken joke.
My chicken joke. We were driving in Alabama the other day. This farmer had
looks
this
at me.
sign out there. Had this sign out there.
You'll have to tell it really slowly.
All right. So there was this guy. I went past by this farm and it said 3-legged chickens for sale. And I thought, well, that's the craziest thing I ever heard. So I'm driving about 35 and Roxanne was over and said, "How fast you going?" I said, "I'm going 35. She said, "That chicken's running right beside us." So I sped up to 40. She said, "He's still there. He's still right beside us." I cranked it up to 50. She said, "That chicken is still right beside us." So I turned the car around, went back to that farmer, and I said, "Man, what's the deal with these 3-legged chickens?" He said, "Well, We bred those because my son likes a chicken leg, my wife likes a chicken leg, and I like a chicken leg. So that's how we came up with them. I said, well, how did it taste? He said, I don't know, we've never caught one.
Like I said before. Guys, it's been an absolute panic today. The two shut-ins that watched the show probably got a kick out of it too. So okay, let's plug the Sunday Morning Country.
Sunday Morning Country, June 9th at the Grand Ole Opry House. You go to opry.com, get tickets. Show starts at 2:30, pre-show at 2 o'clock.
Brenda Lee, Jeannie Seeley.
Diane Sherrill, the Fox Brothers, Beverly Walker. It's just, and Lulu Roman, and a tribute to Roy Clark. So man, just come on out. Would love to have you.
And Tim Atwood playing keys. That's actually
I'm actually singing too.
Are you?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Get there early because you don't want to miss Tim singing.
And I won't tell a joke, I promise.
Yes, he will. He will.
Yes, I will.
Glenn, what you got going on that we need to tell? You've got your new single.
Well, we got the new single. We got a lot going on for CMA Fest. Well, Fanfare. I still call it Fanfare. CMA Fest.
Are you going to be on any of the stages?
We're going to be at the Roper signing booth, at Boot Barn, the Valentine, also at John Rich's new place at Redneck Riviera on their stage. And I rarely play downtown anymore, but this is a pretty significant week to play downtown. It's valuable that I be there. So I've got a lot going on, a lot of interviews. And then, throughout the rest of the year, we've got some things for Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, some corporate events for them. Las Vegas, NFR, PBR, every year.
That's a blast. Have you done it before?
I have. Fourth year in a row I've been invited back. This is one of the places where I love getting invited back there.
Good.
So lots going on in November, early November, on November the 3rd. We're locally working with the Tennessee Children's Home. We're doing a benefit at the Tennessee Children's Home sponsored by Walker Chevrolet. So that's kind of community, what's going on.
People can find out all everything you've got going on.
On our social media, it's glen-templeton.com is our website. Facebook is Glen Templeton, and that's at GT Music. Then it's at Glen Templeton Tour is our Instagram.
Cool.
I'm closing my eyes because I'm trying to figure out what is that.
Why is it we close our eyes to try and remember stuff, and you talk louder to people who don't speak English?
That's true.
And you've got the Sunday Morning Country thing coming up. What else you got going on?
Sunday Morning Country, just doing a lot of different things.
The album.
Doing a lot of road. And you can find me at timatwood.com on the internet, and on Facebook, it's Tim Atwood Music.
Cool. And the album is called Living the Dream.
Living the Dream.
It's a really good album. If you like what you heard today, get it. If you didn't like what you heard today,
Get it anyway.
Thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thank you, man.
Really
Appreciate
it.
it.
Glenn, it's great to meet you. And
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you so
We'll have
much.
you back again. You can come back anytime.
Thanks.
You.
Yeah.
We get in the
We'll come back
album
when he
today.
comes back.
All right.
I want to come back with him. I want to play for him.
Yeah. Cool. I'll do that. Let's do
We'll
it.
get a chance.
I'd love to.
Let's do something later in the summer or the fall or something.
Well, thank you so
That
much.
sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching the National Access Facebook show with Camo, presented by Solus North Gulch Apartments, where taste matters. Make sure you catch me this Saturday afternoon on Hippie Radio 94.5 here in Nashville from 3 to 7. If you live in the UK, you can catch me on Sunday at noon on Chris Country Radio. And if you live in Tamworth, Australia, you can catch me every Thursday morning with Jody and John with my pick of the week and a whole bunch of stuff on Tamworth Country or Tamworth Radio, 88.9 FM. Thanks for watching the show. We'll see you next time.